Here. Councillor Clark.
Present.
Councillor Lawrence. Here. Councillor Jowett.
Here.
Councillor Erb.
Present.
Councillor Nowak. Councillor Kiefer.
Here.
Councillor McGarry. Here. Councillor Armstrong.
Present.
Councillor Harris. Councillor Shantz.
Here.
Councillor Strickland. Here. Councillor Foxton.
Present.
Councillor Galloway.
Here.
Thank you.
I just can't not express how happy it makes me to see all of these shining faces again. But I would also like to acknowledge the land on which we gathered today is excuse me, the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and the Neutral people. We acknowledge the enduring presence of the Indigenous people with whom we share this land today, their achievements and their contributions to our community. One of the things that I have learned from Indigenous people is that our relationship to the land should be one of stewardship and not ownership, and I am honored to make this journey with them. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest under the Conflict of Interest Act? Are there any presentations? I don't see any. No petitions, no delegations. I would now entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meetings as listed. If I could have a mover, moved by Councillor Jaworski, seconded by Councillor Armstrong. Please show your agreement. That is carried. Next agenda item is communications. It's an information package that you would have received electronically up to November the 2nd. Are there any items anybody would like to highlight? Seeing none, I would now entertain a motion to go into Committee of the Whole to consider reports. If I could have a mover, moved by Councillor Erb, seconded by Councillor Lawrence. All those in favor? That is carried. Thank you, colleagues. We are now in the Committee of the Whole. There are committee reports. Okay, the only item is the admin and finance motion, which we debated at committee and have moved, and that has to do with the benefits for retiring councillors. If I could have a mover, moved by Councillor Jowett, seconded by Councillor Strickland. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Other matters under the Committee of the Whole. Seeing none, I would entertain a motion for the Committee of the Whole to rise and council to resume. If I could have moved by Councillor Nowak, seconded by Councillor McGarry, please use your hands. I was going to say icons. Old habits die hard. Thank you. That is carried. I would now entertain a motion to adopt the proceedings of the Committee of the Whole. Moved by Councillor Jowett, seconded by Councillor Armstrong. All those in favor? That is carried. We have no motions, no notices of motion. I have to tell you, I'm strolling down memory lane here. I hope the rest of you are. There were times when notices of motions were hotly contested and very controversial. I have no unfinished business, but under other business, I would call on our CAO, Mr. Lochner, for a few remarks. There you go. Now you're on.
Oh, you missed my joke. That's okay. As I look around and reflect on the last 4 years, I think about how each member of this council has worked so hard to serve this community, and some of you for many, many, many decades. As staff saw time and time again, you committed to continue to build a wonderful community, a place where everyone is welcomed, where everyone has a roof over their head, a place where everyone has a voice and those voices are heard. A place that protects the balance between rural and urban, a place that grows and grows well. As we reflect on the past 4 years as staff, we have a very short video to share with you with a few highlights.
Over the past 4 years, Regional Council has helped shape the community, growing the economy with the launch of ION, working with residents and partners to push the needle on climate change, paving the way with greener services and operations, adding new cycling routes and destinations, investing regional funds to accelerate the creation of affordable homes, protecting the community through a global crisis, working with local businesses to help keep doors open. Embarking on journeys that led to new ways of addressing pressing issues. Past 4 years, Council has helped make this community a better place to work, live, and play.
I couldn't be prouder of this council and the ability to work alongside you. I look back at media from October 2018, and a lot of you had some pretty ambitious plans. Surprisingly, no one said managing a pandemic was part of your platform. All kidding aside, it's been a remarkable 4 years. Earlier, Councillor Lorentz mentioned the many, many hours. It's not just that, it's the toil and the consternation behind the scenes that the public never saw. We saw that as staff. We saw the agony in your face as you had to make decisions on everything from masking or no masking to what do we do when we didn't have enough vaccine in this community. As if that pandemic wasn't enough, somehow you still managed to find the courage and the strength to continue to lead this region through so many, many firsts that you outlined in your strategic plan that you adopted way back in 2019. I don't know if anybody remembers that. But you spent time listening and acting on priorities identified by the community with many key commitments, many historic investments, and many firsts. Under your leadership, we developed the first corporate climate transformation strategy. We developed the first ever regional strategy to accelerate the creation of affordable housing. And I look back to November 2019 when you approved a plan to develop 638 new affordable homes over 10 years. Boy, did you make a change. You took the first steps towards systemic change in the organization and in the community. And for the first time, you fundamentally changed how the region makes decisions so that communities who know their needs best decide how to allocate upstream funding. You invested in equity projects to improve the health and wellness of racialized and marginalized communities. And while working towards all that, you paved the way for economic growth and a more sustainable future, doubling the size of the airport, adding electric buses, creating greener facilities, making progress to Ion Light Rail in Cambridge, and more frequent GO train service from Toronto to this region. All of these investments and key commitments involve partnerships, ambitious and forward-thinking, courage, and deliberate and thoughtful planning. I know your decisions and actions over the last 4 years have paved the way for a brighter future and for the next council that's coming in. So on behalf of staff at the Region of Waterloo, thank you again for your tremendous commitment to public service and your dedication to this community.
Thank you, Bruce. Colleagues, it's been an enormous pleasure to describe each of you with that word over the past 4 years. As all of you will know from your experience on various councils and boards, being on a council is a real team sport. You have your ups, you have your downs. You lean on different members at different times, and what you achieve collectively. What's so special about this team is that we represent the residents, our neighbors, our colleagues, and our families across this great region. This is the last council meeting for many wonderful colleagues. Given the breadth of experience and expertise, as well as the impact of the time each of you have served, it's fitting that we provide each of you with our departing colleagues with an opportunity to reflect on your time. I have shortened your 5 minutes to 3, so I hope you're focused. Our departing councillors represent 101 years of dedication to our community. That's a pretty staggering number. And I want you to know all of those are not Councillor Galloway. I shared those. But I do want to acknowledge Councillor McGarry, Councillor Clark, Councillor Jaworski, Jowett, and Kiefer, Councillor Armstrong, Councillor Strickland, Councillor Lorentz, and Councillor Galloway. 101 years of helping shape our current community and paving a way for the future. So I'm first going to turn it over to Councillor McGarry if she would like to take 3 minutes to reflect.
Thank you very much, Chair. When I started out in 2018, I was fresh off the provincial election and wondered what my new tasks would be at other levels of government. And the first thing that I noted was that my regional colleagues were there in force and en masse to help me orient to my new role here as a councillor. I don't think I've ever been so proud or as focused as we were in the last 4 years in making sure that a lot of the important things for this region, for our communities, for our cities and townships, were moving forward because of the work that we did here. As you know, it's been an incredibly challenging 4 years for us personally, and I have to thank each and every one of you and staff for the kindness and for the compassion that you showed over many of my different over my different challenges. It got to the point where I don't think that Chair Redmond wanted to pick up my call, except to hear good news. I think that when we reflect on what we've done in the past 4 years, none of us could have ever wondered what a pandemic would be like. I had been through SARS as a frontline nurse. I had done some of the planning for the pandemic planning tool that we ended up dusting off and used. And I would say that although, yes, it was work day in and day out on numerous meetings in order to plan and change the direction, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, I don't think the public, and I'm not sure that even staff, really understood the worry, the ongoing concern and anxiety that each one of us here, especially around the Board of Health table, understood. We watched what was going on in New York, in Italy. We planned for a field hospital, and that really took its toll. And so here we are. We use our innovation, our barn building skills here as a region. We came together not only with all of us, but our area municipalities to show strength and resilience for so many communities. We made so many moves ahead to build an inclusive community and took on some of the most challenging things of our generation all in one term. So if you're breathless after the 4 years, you've got good reason to be, and so do we. So I wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for the absolute privilege to serve with all of you. I thank the community for putting your faith in me for the last 4 years, and I want to give a special shout out to our staff who has always shown the compassionate side of what we are all about in Waterloo Region. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Well done.
So I'm not skipping over Councillor Clark, but you felt you made your comments, so thank you very much. Councillor Jaworski.
Thank you. Through the chair to whoever's listening, I might be channeling another retired regional council member because I'm going to give you a history lesson. And, as I saw the video there today, I was thinking about the LRT. And as I came in the building today, it occurred to me, I think I'm the last person here who knows where the Corduroy Road is kept. There's spare pieces of the Corduroy Road that were brought here to the regional building, and they're still here to this day, but I don't think anybody knows where they are because everybody I know who put them there, they've all retired. So I think that's a key thing is that as we turn over, that we can't forget our history. We have to know where we've been. Now to my point of going forward, so exciting to see all the fresh leaders here at the region of Waterloo and what level of commitment that they bring and fresh ideas that they bring. And a big thank you for them for supporting us. A big thank you to our families, represented, we'll see soon, supporting us. And the fresh faces who will come here and with their fresh ideas and to help solve the challenges of today and tomorrow, and just so excited for that. And so the answer to where all the Corduroy Road is hidden is in this building, but my time is up. Thank you.
I'm so glad it was the corduroy road, because usually when people say I know where where they're buried, it's the bodies, not the corduroy road. So I was a bit relieved. Councillor Jowett.
I want to be really quick and just say again, applaud the thanks, Chair Bradman, for picking up the massive lack of us being able to be here when things got so tough. But I also just wanted to say thanks to my colleagues for being different. I love the fact that we all brought different experiences and different levels of perception. And I love that we were able to play devil's advocacy with appreciative inquiry and respect. And I hope that that continues in the next council, because gosh darn it, if we didn't have the best staff representing us, I don't know who does. I mean, Craig, I don't know how many times you had to explain certain things to me, and you did it with a smile, and I have always appreciated that, and all of the staff that supported us the way that they have, and then again for the colleagues around the table for the fact that yeah, we could have a difference of opinion, we could totally disagree and think, wow, what an idiot, but we always remained friends and asked our questions, and I think we could still pull it off quite nicely. So I just want to thank everybody for a great opportunity. I really never kept a job for longer than a few years at a time. Even in my own business, it never looked the same every 5 years. So this is like an ultimate commitment for someone like me. So I really just want to say thank you for everything. And Chair Edmund, thanks for making the changes that we wanted to see in government. I know that you played a strong role in that. So all the best to everyone in the future.
Councillor Kiefer.
Me? Oh.
That's you.
Thank you, Chair Redmond. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to you and to my colleagues around the Horseshoe for I I spent a lot of time playing hockey in my younger years, and I was a team guy, and this is a hell of a team, and so I want to say thanks, and to you, Bruce, and your staff, thank you very much for your professionalism, and you do have a good team as well, which I feel that we were all proud to be on as well. It's been a hell of a ride. I started back in Cambridge, as all of you know, in 1991 when I first elected down there, and then did 23 years there, and then the last 8 years here. Sounds like a life sentence, doesn't it? But anyways, it's been a great ride. I really appreciate my colleagues and the camaraderie, and I'm gonna miss that for sure. But all the best in the future.
Very good.
Councillor Armstrong.
Well, first of all, I want to thank my community, because despite having the opportunity after 16 years of being on council, they still sent me here. So that's probably a surprise to a lot of people. I appreciate the work that has been done here. I appreciate the people that I've had to work with here. Chair, I really appreciate the direction you have taken us and the hard work that you are. There was an incident you and I had back right in that non-corner that chatted, and that chat led me to believe that you were the right person to be sitting there. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will, at anybody's request, I'll let you know what was said, but we can't say it here. Anyway, thank you everyone for your hard work over the last few years, and I really appreciate the opportunity to serve my community. I mean, it's been 28 years of council work, and prior to that, I served my community as a police officer for 13 years, and it is a community that I love so much and appreciate so much that I spent all that damn time here doing this stuff, and I really feel great about what we've accomplished. And when you see my replacement, she certainly is a fresh face. And the fact that you said that you were happy to see our shining faces, well, that's because you didn't give us time to powder our noses. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Armstrong. And just in case anybody watching this is doing the math, the 101 years was at regional council. So many of you have served at other levels. That was just your time spent around this horseshoe. Councillor Strickland.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's been a real pleasure to serve with successive councils, and none of us would be here without the tremendous support of family. And my wife happened to make it to her probably second council meeting ever. And I don't blame her. Thanks for coming, Jill. And thanks to, my entire family for all the support over the years, my children and also extended family. My dad was an elected city councillor in Kitchener. He's been gone a long time, but he also sat at the region and he chaired community services. And my mother-in-law, Jill's mom, was a longtime councillor, Mary Jane Mawhinney from the city of Waterloo, and she chaired community services. And so when I first was elected chair, I was at community services for a variety of reasons, but it was great to continue that legacy of service as a chairperson, and also that legacy of service from both our families as an elected official. And really appreciate the support, Jill. Thank you. When I was first elected, I'm not going to get into too much of a history lesson, but I was first elected. This struck me this week because I was first elected to school board in the mid 90s. And you may recall we had the Days of Action with Mike Harris. And I thought until yesterday we might be heading towards that again. But thankfully, those in Queen's Park have demonstrated that history does teach us some lessons, and that they did have some second thoughts on using the notwithstanding clause to negotiate an agreement. So it's good to see that that hasn't occurred, and it was a great opportunity serving at the school board, and so, chaired management committee there, and we built different schools. And then from there, I went to city and region. At a time, we sat on both. And at the city, we made a lot of changes. We got rid of the Local Improvement Act, which really, if you wanted to pave your road in front of your house because it had a bunch of potholes, you had to pay for it on your taxes over a period of 10 years. So we're able to make that cost absorbed by the entire city rather than just the homeowners. I think that was positive. And we started the path for uptown redevelopment. We purchased Waterloo Town Square and the barrel yards, and it fills me with a sense of pride whenever I go down uptown Waterloo and see the tremendous development that's happening there. And I know we're seized by housing and affordable housing and supporting the homeless and those that are most vulnerable in our communities. And we've been doing that for a long time here at the region of Waterloo, starting back in, I think it was 2001, when we were the first municipality to pass a very rigorous housing redevelopment plan for affordable housing and get it approved by the province at the time. And so that legacy continues, and I wish those that are coming in as new councillors, and I'm sure they will, to continue that legacy of supporting those who are most vulnerable in our communities. And of course, we had some very long meetings here dealing with the smoking bylaw. And it was a raucous affair, I tell you, in this council chamber. Thankfully, we don't have to relive any of that. Who knows what's going to happen ahead of us? But that was some time period, and chairing some of those public meetings was a real eye-opening and very much a learning experience. We had similar experience when we put in a local pesticide law. So, and ION, when we went ahead with ION and some of the controversy surrounding that. So we're never been afraid at this council chamber to make the tough but right decisions for our community. And I just encourage everyone who comes in and takes up these seats to continue to do that and provide that leadership and be true to yourself and true to your values. Work hard, listen, and do the best you can on behalf of our constituents. I'll leave you with one story. I'm always emboldened by the campaigns that I've been on over the years, and I first ran for municipal council, I think it was like 1988 or something like that, a long time ago. And but I've always enjoyed going door to door, and over the years I've knocked on most of the doors, not once but 1.5 times in the city of Waterloo. And I remember this former politician said to me, he said, Sean, you know, because the elections used to be in November and the weather was a lot worse. And he said to me, you know, when you go out when it's raining, they love it. It shows how hard you want that job. When it's pouring down rain and you're knocking on their door, it shows how hard you want that job. And I said, geez, when I do that, I just feel like a complete idiot. So why would I do that? But anyways, out I went, knocking on the doors in the rain. And it was about my 5th or 6th door on a very stormy night. Jill was with me. And this guy says to me, what are you, some kind of idiot? And since that time, I never knocked on doors in the rain. And I'd like to say, you know, thank you very much to staff and my colleagues for all the support and information over the years and helping me to not look like an idiot. Thank you.
Councillor Lawrence.
I'll give my time to Sean, and I'll make some comments.
Okay.
To our reception.
Thank
I've
you.
already made some comments earlier, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Councillor Galloway.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. I did put down some thoughts because I'm not really good spontaneously, and this is a really important time for all of us, and particularly for me. It was a difficult decision to not seek re-election this time. I truly continue to enjoy my role on Regional Council and working with you, my colleagues, and the great staff. But when I put together my pros and cons list, 2 things on the list to not run again kept percolating to the top. The first was a desire to get involved in new and different ways to move our community forward, in ways that you can't get involved when you're on council. The second reason was to allow space on Regional Council for more diversity, both gender and otherwise. On the first account, I've accepted some new roles in the community already, giving consideration to a few more and hoping to seek out even a few more. I won't be sitting in a rocking chair. On the second account, I've actively supported certain candidates in the recent election, and I'm so pleased to see the election of more women, a woman of color, and a woman with disabilities. Our community, the region, and the new council will be so enriched. As I reflect on my years of elected office and the 28 years here at the region, there are so many things to be proud of. We've accomplished so much. And unlike so many upper tiers, we have done it collaboratively and with mutual respect. Our urban-rural balance and traditions have been maintained. Now, among the highlights I want to mention, and the first is for Craig's benefit, is our AAA credit rating. There you go, Craig. Okay. Quite an accomplishment. Not a lot of municipalities can take credit for. The second thing, these are not in any particular order, but this was raised by Thomas Schmidt when he retired. And I never really thought of this, but I think we should all be proud of what we've done to the Grand River. Through the strategic investments that we have made, we have brought the river back to health. And that has happened over the term of my time here, but also the time of many of you. Proud of the sustainability and climate action efforts of the Regional Growth Management Strategy, the Countryside Line, ESLs, ION, Conventional Transit Expansion, and Active Transportation Acceleration, and the emphasis we gave to climate action in the last strategic plan, and I expect in the future one as well. Something that maybe many of you aren't aware of, but I'm very proud of the establishment and implementation of the Huron Natural Area in Kitchener, which started in my very first year of elected office back in 1988 when I was on the separate school board and became the first chair of the Huron Natural Area, an area that I visit at least 4 or 5 times a week. I'm also very proud of this council's clear recognition of the importance of upstream initiatives in improving human outcomes. I think we've seen that in a number of ways that this council and previous councils have gotten involved. Our housing supply and affordability initiatives, which many people have spoken about, is truly province leading and something, again, we can all be proud of. I'm particularly proud of the hospital capital investment strategy that goes back a number of years that led to the establishment of our Cancer Center, the Heart Institute, and the Cambridge Memorial Hospital reconstruction, which Council of the day had a huge hand in with the $40 million that was provided for those projects. The airport capital expansion and passenger expansion. Talking to a senior member of our airport staff the other day, we might be at 1 million passengers next year with what is being talked about. I'm also proud, and I think we all can be proud of our emphasis on making everyone feel welcome in our community, celebrating diversity and embracing reconciliation. Sean mentioned this. For some of you, you won't know what we're talking about. The smoking and pesticide bylaws. 2 o'clock in the morning, we were here listening to delegations, one who first made her presentation in English and then decided there are 2 official languages in this country. She made the same presentation in French. And also, of course, our COVID response, and so many, many more. I want to thank you, my colleagues, Chair Redmond and former Chair Sealing, all former regional councillors for your dedication and community service through elected office, the wise debate and discussion and decisions that have moved our region forward. I want to thank you all as well for allowing me various leadership roles on council. Next, but not least, I want to thank our regional staff. Our region is truly blessed with a great and dedicated staff. Not only have they provided council with great council information, reports, strategic direction, and advice, but I truly appreciate the hundreds, if not thousands, of phone calls, meetings, or sidebars that I have benefited from over the years. I cannot express sufficiently my gratitude for the support from staff in making my job so much easier and I hope effective. I want to particularly mention the clerk's department, holding my hand, keeping me straight on the right path during budgets when I was chair of administration and finance, through the days on planning and works up until and including today. Your advice and guidance was truly appreciated. And of course, last but not least, I want to thank the citizens of Kitchener who for 34 years have allowed me to represent them at various school board and various councils. So in closing, I am not going anywhere. We'll be watching the new council attentively, and I'm available anytime for a chat. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for those statements. This really is a moment in time. I have no questions. The next agenda item is enactments of bylaws, first, second, and third readings. I would entertain a motion and a mover and a seconder, and this is 19.1 and 19.2. This has to do with the bylaws, moved by Councillor Armstrong, seconded by Councillor Clark. Do you have a question? Oh, you're thirding it. Okay. All those in favor, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you, colleagues. And now everybody's favorite motion, although it's very poignant today, a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Jowett, seconded by Councillor Lawrence. All those in favor? Well done, colleagues.